Before humanity ever looked to the stars, something was already looking back. Not gods, not myths, but orders of intelligence recorded across every ancient civilization. Angels, jinn, star beings, different names, same presence, and every religion agrees on one thing: they were created before us. Ancient scripture does not begin with humans. It begins with creation already alive. In Islamic tradition, angels are created from pure light beings without ego, hunger, or fatigue, executing divine command with precision beyond human comprehension. Then came the jinn, formed from smokeless fire, intelligent, unseen, capable of choice, belief, rebellion, and deception. And finally, humanity, created from the physical world itself. Clay, matter, time-bound, 3 creations, 3 intelligences, 1 source. The one is not described as ruler of earth alone, but as Lord of all worlds. Meaning creation was never empty, it was layered. Early Christian and ancient Hebrew traditions echo the same structure. They speak of angels arranged in ranks, messengers, watchers, forces assigned to observe, guide, and sometimes restrain humanity. Some texts describe beings who descended too far, crossed boundaries, and interfered with human affairs, not as invaders, but as violators of order. These were not fairy tales. They were warnings, because the unseen realm was never described as harmless, only regulated. Every tradition records the same truth. Not all unseen beings are benevolent, and not all knowledge was meant to be touched. For most of human history, the question was never, are we alone? It was far more unsettling. Who else exists? Ancient cultures across the world describe non-human intelligences, not as invaders, not as conquerors, but as presences, quiet, intelligent, older than humanity itself. Long before the word alien existed, these beings were recorded in sacred language, careful language meant to describe something real, but difficult to explain. They were not said to arrive from distant stars in machines. They were said to appear through openings, thresholds, moments when reality itself seemed thinner than usual. What modern culture calls stargates were never described as technology. They were described as conditions, alignments between the heavens, the earth, and human awareness. When those conditions were met, something could cross. Here is where the tone of ancient writing changes, because these texts never celebrate open access. They emphasize restriction. Gates were not freely used. Knowledge was not freely given. Contact was never uncontrolled. Certain beings were described as able to move between realms naturally. Others were bound to their domains. The ancients didn't fear the unseen. They feared losing awareness of it, because once humanity forgot, it became easy to manipulate. And humanity was warned, not because the unknown was evil, but because it was unequal. What we now label as aliens may not be distant strangers at all. They may be non-human intelligences that exist within the same creation, but outside our sensory limits, not hidden by distance, but by design. Ancient thinkers believed reality was layered, and that some layers were never meant to fully merge. This is why sacred traditions repeatedly caution humanity. Do not worship what descends from the sky. Do not follow every voice that speaks with authority. Do not mistake advanced intelligence for truth, because intelligence alone was never proof of goodness, and power was never proof of wisdom. Here is the darkest idea preserved in ancient thought, and it is stated quietly, almost reluctantly. Humanity was not placed at the top of creation, nor at the bottom, but in the middle, capable of awareness, yet vulnerable to influence, free, yet forgetful. Perhaps that is why encounters, visions, and sightings are never clear, why they feel symbolic rather than physical, why they linger at the edge of certainty. Because whatever these intelligences are, angels, jinn, or what modern language calls aliens, they do not demand belief. They maintain distance, and maybe the truth the ancients tried to preserve was never about visitors at all. Maybe it was a warning. that when humanity forgets its place in creation, when it assumes it stands alone, when it dismisses the unseen as myth, it becomes vulnerable, not to invasion, but to misunderstanding, because some truths don't reveal themselves loudly. They wait quietly until we're ready to remember.
The ancients understood something we forgot, that the unseen doesn't disappear when ignored, it simply operates unnoticed. And maybe the greatest mystery isn't what exists beyond our world, but how long it's been watching us. Remember this, you were never alone in creation, you were never abandoned, and you were never meant to forget. This channel isn't here to convince you, only to remind you.
Thank you